Hello, kindergarten. Today we are going to do a lesson about a method called CrayonResist. So we are going to take a piece of paper, okay, I just have a plain piece of paper here, and we are going to put different things underneath the paper, and we're going to rub the paper with a crayon. So just as an example, I have a little piece of paper here. This was actually from a sticker sheet, so I'm using the part that was left over, and I'm going to put that underneath the paper. I also have a piece of paper that had holes punched out of it. I'm going to put that under the paper too, and I'm going to lay the paper down, and I'm going to take a crayon that's on its side like this, and I'm going to hold my paper down, and I'm going to use my pinchy fingers. Okay, see how I'm holding that crayon just kind of like this on its side? And I'm going to rub the crayon over the paper. It works better for me if I push it forward and pick it up. If I try to go back and forth, sometimes the paper moves. It makes it difficult for me. So I'm going to push this over here. I'm going to put this crayon down and choose another color. On this side, I'm going to hold the paper down with one hand, and I'm going to push this crayon over. Now I'm going to move my hand, push the crayon. Now I'm going to move my hand again, and I'm going to pull the crayon. Right? And as you can see, it's creating what we call a texture. Now I could take this crayon and I could put it on top of this other crayon. See how the colors mix? I could even move this a little bit and then go over it again. Look what happens. Isn't that interesting? That looks pretty cool. Okay, so oops, I just broke my crayon. But you know what the great thing about crayons is? They still work even when they're broken. That is a really cool thing about crayons. I'm going to set this one aside and show you just a couple more examples of things that we can use. You can use anything really to make texture. You could use the bottom of your shoe. You could use leaves. I wish I had some leaves right now. I have some little letters up here, and then I have a sheet. These are stencils, letter stencils. I'm going to put that on its side like that. And I'm going to put my paper down on top. And I'm going to do a lighter color. Watch what happens here. Hold this down. And then it may not be as easy to see right now. Okay, but you can see those letters if you push your crayon on top of them. And then, let's see, we'll get this color crayon. Right, see my letters coming through? I can see them. And let's change colors just slightly on this side. Sometimes it's tricky. There we go. It's a little more orangey. There we go. All right. One last example, and then I'm going to show you the next part. Okay, the last one. These we have in the classroom. These are texture plates, texture sheets. This one has butterflies on it. And I want to show you that depending on which way you use the sheet, it will change the way your butterflies look. So I'm going to lay it on top, always on top. And I'm going to, on this side, so if you use the sheet going that way, the butterflies will look like this. Okay. If I turn the sheet over, the butterflies will look like that. Kind of the same, but a little different. So depending on which way you use that texture plate, sometimes we call them rubbing plates because that's what we do with our crayons. We rub on them. There you go. So now we have a couple different sheets of what we call texture. Okay, texture is something that you can feel, right? You can't really feel this because it's flat, but it looks like you might be able to feel it. So now what I'm going to show you is the resist part. Because if you don't know already, crayons are made with wax. And wax does not melt in water. Okay, so when I take some paint and I paint over the wax, it still shows through the paint. Okay, I can still see those letters through the paint. Now what I like to tell my students is if we want to be able to see the letters or the patterns that you have made with your crayon, don't paint the same color of paint on top. You know, don't use the same color crayon as you use paint, because it makes it difficult to see. So I'm going to show you that just real quick. I'm going to paint some yellow on top of these yellow letters. Okay, and when I do that, it makes them difficult to see. You may still be able to see them, but it's not very easy to. Okay, if I pick a color, say like purple, which is the complementary of yellow, purple, then it makes it much easier to see those letters. Remember to use plenty of water with your watercolor paint, and always wash your brush when you're about to change colors. Please do not put your paintbrush from one color. Don't put your paintbrush right from the blue into the yellow, okay? Because that will mix the colors in the tray. And I'm sure as you know, you don't like to get the tray with the yucky colors. All right, if you try to use your paint and it is too thick, I'm not sure I'll be able to get my paint that thick, but sometimes we use our paint, nope, I can't get it. Sometimes our paint is too thick when we don't have enough water, and it just covers the letters up completely. All right, let's see. I'm going to try something. I'm going to try a little black on top of this pink and see what happens. Look at that. That is interesting. And I don't actually have to use the same color over the whole thing. If I decide, well, the black is nice, but I think I'm going to use some purple. I can kind of blend that right into the black, just like that. Okay, so this is what we're going to be doing today in class. Let's get started.